The Aussie NFL Fantasy Show would like to acknowledge the traditional land owners and the leaders past, present and emerging of Ngunnawal, Ngambri and Darawal countries where we are working from today. This always was, and always will be, Aboriginal land.
Sorry, so do I take over hosting duties since I'm the
Yeah,
only one
mate,
with the
I
camera?
reckon you do it.
Yeah, right.
I'm the colour commentator, so I'm probably just going to say too much stupid shit to be those.
I'm just here for special comments.
Yeah.
Yeah, you two are the special comments. All right.
In a world of uncertainty,
Rivers jizzing in his pants, and then you bring up your wife in the next sentence. Like, I know where you're going. What is going on?
there is only one place you can turn for fair dinkum advice.
One word, unbelievable. 2 words, holy shit. 3 words, oh my god.
A place where the undeniably American
It sounds so weird in like an Australian accent.
meets the undeniably Aussie.
Hey, let's stop the foreskinning for some absolutely wonderful segments later.
Where the analysis is solid
I, for one, was not one of those haters, as I picked a Rams victory.
Look, I think he can get over 150 yards in this game, easily.
Kick his ass, Tyler Bass!
and everything else is out to kill you.
There's going to be shrinking nutsacks all over the place.
Welcome to the Aussie NFL Fantasy Show.
G'day everyone, and welcome to the Aussie NFL Fantasy Show. Now today, if you're watching on YouTube, this is going to be one of the weirdest shows ever because I'm your host, Manjot Melly, which is very weird to say because I'm the main host of the show. I'm the only one in camera. That is right. We've been having a few issues across the board. Oh, we got Taylor on camera. How's it going, Taylor?
I just wanted to see what it looked like. I'm in my car. It's pretty dark, but it actually came up all right. I've still got my Indianapolis and dog shit background, so nothing wrong with that, mate. But yeah, I'm up in sunny Coffs Harbour at the moment, so we've definitely had some difficulties getting the show together this week. Not to mention what happened to Matty, which I'm sure Manjot will bring up. But just drove past the big banana and just watched a couple of seagulls having sex. So yeah, it's good times. Is Manjot frozen? This is great timing.
Working well. I'll just introduce myself. So I'm stepping in for Matty today. Manjot will probably tell you what's happened to Matty, but here for special comments. And I'll take over Matty's picks and hopefully I'll get him some sort of result because apparently he's not very good at that himself.
He sucks balls. He's the baker of starts of the week.
Do you ever roll you should roll your picks of the week into multis, mate? You'd be rolling.
It's been a pretty decent year of it. The week last week where it was like I pretty much picked out that Seahawks Lions game and pretty much just took everyone from that and it worked out so well because I was going on and on about Geno. Like I was just like, no one's talking about him, and he's actually got really, really good stats this year. Like he's throwing for like well over 200 yards every single game this year, and everyone
It
just
makes no sense
from last year.
I don't get it. It makes no sense.
I know, and he's the thing I cannot believe. I think I even said it in our group chat a couple of weeks ago. Was Lockett? Like I thought Lockett was just going to be dead and buried with him, but he's like wide receiver 8 or something on the season. He's absolutely killing it, and Metcalf's still sort of iffy, but he's going all right.
I think he'll always be okay. Like he's got enough physical tools that he'll make it work. But yeah, it's just that one. It just I wanted nothing to do with that offense outside of maybe Walker.
Nah,
but that's
I was getting out of everything.
Yeah, I am officially back now. Wait, are we still in the show right now, by the way?
I've introduced myself, but you just carry on. Pick it back up.
Yes. My Wi-Fi just playing up. Sorry, everyone. But yes, we've been uninterrupted sort of schedule. Don't know if the boys have mentioned it yet, but Matty is away. Prayers up to our boy Matty C. He is going through a terrible, terrible injury right now. They picked up right on the day of recording, so we could not plan for this at all. So yeah, just a terrible injury to Matty. He pretty much has the entire 49ers curse on him right now, which is very, very bad. But look, if the Niners defense can still be the best defense in the world, despite all the shit that's gone on to the team, I'm sure Matty can still be the best podcast host in the world when he comes back. So there you go, Matty. There's my well wishes to you. So yeah, we definitely got Mark here. We got Taylor here. It's going to be great. It's going to be great. I mean, Mark filling in for Matty. How easy will that be?
Well, based on his picks so far, I don't. As long as I pick somebody that has a heartbeat, I should be okay.
Yeah, that's for sure. Let's roll straight into the show. I'm not messing around here like Matty usually does. I'm my own host, so we are definitely going into the first segment, which of course is the Pastry Performer of the Week awards. Fire that drop.
They're so sweet and fresh.
Really?
Yeah. Thanks for calling pastries. Thanks for calling pastries. Pastries, pastries. I got all my pastries. Pastries, pastries. We get 'em while they hot. We get 'em while they hot. We get 'em while they hot. I got all my pastries and I got 'em while they hot.
Yeah, so here we go. Pastry Performer of the Week awards for week 5. Now, this week was very interesting across the board. I don't even know about you guys, but didn't you think the week was a bit mid in some ways? I don't even know because I don't know how to describe it because it was a weird week across the league. What were your guys' thoughts on this week's NFL action, by the way?
The Titans won. That's all I really care about. But yeah, I kind of know what you mean. It was just a bit blur outside of like Josh Allen just tearing the arsehole out of the Pittsburgh Steelers in the first half. Like there wasn't really too much to it. I didn't mind the Monday Night Football game because
Sunday
the
night
rate.
too.
Sorry.
Oh yeah, the Sunday night and the Monday night games. Yeah, definitely.
Yeah. I didn't really get to see much of that one, but I got to see a bit of the Chiefs and Raiders, and it was good because the Raiders seemed to actually put up a good fight whenever they played the Chiefs, and there was a fair few points scored in that game as well. And Devontae Adams, scored a couple of touchdowns and then sent a fucking photographer for a wall. So it was plenty to watch during that game, but there was a lot of mid games. There was just a lot of like quarterbacks that just really aren't stepping up to the mark. And outside of like probably the top, 6 or 7 quarterbacks in the league, everyone else is just sort of, almost running the ball heaps and just trying to win in a 1950s style. So it is a bit weird at the moment. Like you've got the really top echelon quarterbacks and then you've got everyone else just sort of trying to work out the way they can score 15 points and try and defend a win.
Yeah, it was weird watching the Niners just absolutely destroy Baker and getting Matt Rule fired like I called on the podcast last week during Public Defender. So I just want to bring that one back up. We won't get Mark to dive into the Dolphins too much. It's been an unfortunate sort of time for their quarterbacks and everything. So thoughts
What
to the
quarterbacks?
Dolphins.
We don't have any left.
Yeah.
We've got none.
Yeah, thoughts out to all the Dolphins QBs, by the way, suffering all the concussion symptoms. It's been terrible. But to highlight the good parts of football, though, I've got the Pastry Performer Awards, of course, sponsored by Pastry Press NFL, and everywhere you can find me, Pastry Press NFL, Aussie NFL Fantasy, Good Egg Gridiron. Look, first off, I've got to give a special Pastry Performer, an honorary Pastry Performer Award to Justin Tucker. Man, how unbelievably good is this guy? He is the greatest kicker we've ever seen, for sure. It's not even a debate. If you guys even did the maths, you guys saw our social media that actually blew up for once. Our most viewed TikTok, our most viewed YouTube short, and one of our most viewed Instagram reels. You guys got to say that's how good Justin Tucker was, that he got us all these views. So he definitely deserves an honorary Pastry Performer of the Week award, maybe Pastry Performer Lifetime Achievement Award for what he did this week. Not only for the Ravens, not only kicking it so straight they can kick it through a half-yard wide field goal post or something like that. They did the maths on that shit. Not only did he do all that, but he helped us break records here at Aussie NFL Fantasy. So from us to you, Justin Tucker, thank you. We want to sing some Italian opera for you soon, but we know you do it better. So we'll leave that to you, mate. But yeah, honorary pastry for Justin Tucker, kicker of the Ravens. We rarely talk about kickers, but I just want to bring that one up straight off the bat.
Well, like tight ends, they're not really people. So it's nice to see one actually do something. It looks like he's got the moves like Jagger, mate. He just got so much swagger.
Yeah, you hate to be on the receiving end of a Justin Tucker game winner when he's just strutting out. You know the game is already over. I remember 2019 Niners playing the Ravens. Yeah, I knew it was over the moment Justin Tucker got out. That dude's a robot for sure. Now let's roll into the actual page performer of the week awards that we usually give out. So week 5. First off, I've got my rookie page performer of the week. Matty, you're very lucky not to see this guy's name be mentioned again. It was Dameon Pierce. Absolutely ran all the hell over the Jaguars. I think he forced like 13 missed tackles and scored the game-winning touchdown. This dude was absolutely incredible. Dameon Pierce, one of the most hyped up rookies in fantasy and overall in the NFL, 100% deserves his credit and everything. He had 26 carries, 99 yards, and a touchdown. So basically 100-yard, 1 touchdown day. And very, very good performance by him. He definitely deserves rookie page performer. He's really hitting his stride right now as a rookie, and very excited to see what he can do for the Texans franchise.
And he's helped kick your ass in a couple of starts of the week this year. I think he's actually most proud of that.
Yeah, he must be. He must be. Yeah, that's for sure. Now, rolling on to the Texans, they actually had a pretty good week, and they actually had 2 pastry performers, which is very, very rare. They got the Aussie pastry performer, second week in a row, Cameron Johnston. I didn't even have to change the picture for this one this week. That's how good he was. He was just a great punting machine this week, and he deserves it, to be honest, because he was just all over the field. I think it was like 48.8 punting average yards per punt. It was just absolutely incredible. I think 3 inside the 20. And man, yeah, 6 punts, 293 yards. That's just
How many
insane.
punts were in that game? Because it was 13-6. Like his leg must be as sore as Buddy Ron Jeremy's middle leg.
Yeah, so he had 6 punts. Yeah. Jaguars punter Logan Cook had 3 punts, which is very weird. I think a lot of going for him 4th down and shit. I've definitely got to do a bit of a deep dive into the stats. But yeah,
I'll tell you who else did a deep dive. Ron Jeremy.
Yeah. So the Jags went 0 for 3 on 4th down, sorry. That's what happened. And then yeah, it was very weird because yeah, the Texans 5 for 13 on 3rd down, but they didn't even have a 4th down. They just kicked it every time, and they missed a couple field goals. It looks like so. Yeah, god dang, it was not a good game to watch for sure. That's just how this week was. It was just very, very mid. Even Good A Gridiron couldn't even get going this week. Yeah, that's how bad this week really was. So, yeah, let's move on to the defensive page performers. Now, I'm going to start with the NFC because it was just an easier conference to choose this week. I'm going with Micah Parsons yet again. This guy is probably going to win Defensive Player of the Year at this rate, knowing how bad Nick Bosa is getting sort of injured at this point. It's just sad to see my boy Nick Bosa go down. But anyway, Micah Parsons, 2 sacks and a forced fumble, 5 tackles in that game against the Rams. Changed the game yet again. I think this is his 3rd defensive page performer of the week this year already. So he's definitely in the running for defensive page performer of the year for me. Very, very good job by him. This week, your pastry will be coming to that Dallas mansion, that's for sure. Yeah.
He was getting MVP chance in an LA crowd.
Yeah, that's crazy, man. Like LA has no fans, and
No.
I remember the audacity of those Rams fans last week. They're like, "Oh, SoFi Stadium North to Levi Stadium." Nah, it's Levi South down there in SoFi. Sorry to say that, but yeah, yeah, I just had to put that one up there. yeah, it was weird to choose the. Yeah, I couldn't even choose an AFC one to be honest. It's actually pretty difficult to choose. But I'm gonna go with yeah, I'm still deciding, guys. So this shows you the lack of
On the
preparation.
show, deciding.
Yeah, on the show because I had about 5 or 6 guys and I wasn't sure who to choose. So honestly, like, yeah, the amount of work I did definitely showing up here. I'm gonna go with Kyle Dogger for that pick six, to be honest. Sorry, what the forced fumble recovery return for a touchdown. Like that was on golf. Yeah, that's why I said pick six. My bad. Yeah, I'm going with Kyle Duggar. That Patriots defense shutting down the highest scoring offense in the entire NFL, the Detroit Lions. I think Kyle Duggar, very underrated play. He deserves a Patriot performer from me. Definitely, he's been one of their best performers for the Patriots for years at the safety spot, and yeah, getting a touchdown there with that fumble recovery return, and yeah, 100% deserves it there. Yeah, so moving on here, we're going on to the offensive side now. This is much easier to choose because, well, we've all played fantasy, and the offensive side, we all know that that's the easiest side to always choose. So the AFC, I'm going to start there. Easily had to be Josh Allen. Absolutely incredible performance. This guy was just all over the Steelers. That was an absolute mauling, as Taylor said at the top, because they just killed the Steelers at the end there. Oh well, at the start there, and then the end was just boring. Josh Allen could have had like 800 yards and 8 touchdowns. By the end of that, they were lucky that they showed some mercy there. I think there's a few games where Josh Allen has just threatened to like break every single record for a single game, and then they've just pulled him out of the game, which is just really sad. I just want to see him break that touchdown record someday because that would just
Josh Allen needs the Lions defense. Like, yeah, he needs,
yeah.
he needs their defense is too good at the Bills, so they're always leading like 30-3 at halftime. He just needs an absolute ass sandwich on the other end.
Yeah, or they're like leading through the third quarter, they're just up like by 30 points, and then they're just like fourth quarter, all right, we'll sit Allen, and it's just so annoying to watch. Yeah, they rested everyone, and yeah, I mean, yeah, it was a weird week because the Bills, they just were all over the Steelers. I think there's a few more mentions coming up. Just gonna put that one out there for you guys. So yeah, a few more Bills coming up. Now the NFC offensive page performers. I've got to go with Geno Smith again. This is his
Do you
second
know?
week in a row. Yeah, second week in a row. I'm going with Geno Smith. I think he played absolutely incredible again, despite the loss this week. He deserves it. And yeah, there was a few other candidates. I would have put like Austin Eckler and Nick Chubb. They had good games. I mean, that's the AFC side, but they had some great games there. But Gino, he's been very efficient the way he's been going about it because the man, he's just I don't even know, 139.7 passer rating, 268 passing yards, 3 touchdowns. That's an incredible performance by any standard. Just his defense absolutely sold again. I think Gino definitely this year is playing like a top 10 quarterback in the league, which no one would have believed at the start of the season. That's for sure. And I think he deserves to stay at his spot as the reigning offensive page performer of the week. So yeah, Gino deserve all of the credit there. So there you go, man. Another pastry going to that Seattle mansion up there. So now we move on to the fantasy pastry performer of the week. I've actually got two because these two absolutely surprised us. Now the first guy, you may know him by a few names because he plays a few positions on the field, and absolutely no one was starting him at tight end when we all think he's a QB. Yeah, that's right. You know who I'm thinking about, Dr. Goodcall. I'm definitely thinking about Taysom Hill. This guy he was just all over that freaking Seattle
You play
team.
him at tight end, and he does everything, literally everything, but catch a pass.
Yeah, he had what, 3 rushing touchdowns, a passing touchdown, perfect passer rating. What more could you ask for? Like, I think he had the game, like he had a punt block or something, or the game-winning tackle. This guy was he was showing up even when it wasn't even on the stat sheet. And I think 100% Taysom Hill, if you had him, kudos to you. That's for sure. Kudos to you if you had Taysom Hill on your team, because I'm sure 99.9% of people didn't start Taysom Hill this week. And another guy who was mainly benched, but I think he played well and deserves a pastry. Gabe Davis. I've been talking him up pretty much all off season as being an underrated fantasy producer. I've been waiting for it. I benched him in a few leagues here and there, but I started him in most of my leagues and I reaped the rewards. Absolutely incredible. That 98-yard touchdown to start the game. 3 catches, 171 yards, and 2 touchdowns was his final stat line, with the longest play of the regular season on the first drive of the game. That's just incredible. Gabe Davis, he's a threat. I think a lot of people will be picking up in waivers or trading for him after that performance, and maybe he'll go cold next week. I hope not, because I have him in a few leagues starting here and there. But yeah, Gabe Davis deserves a fantasy patient performer this week.
That was insane. Like I woke up and the game was still going in the second half, and his stat line was like 2 for 160 something and two. It was like both of his catches were for 160 odd yards and both for a touchdown. It was absolutely insane.
Catching
Yeah, I don't
bobs.
need. Yeah, which catch was better, by the way? The first one or the second one? I gotta go with the second one.
Second one's
Yeah.
one-hander.
Yeah,
Yeah,
All
absolutely.
and Minka was all over the ball, wasn't he? Like he was just like draping himself all over the ball, and then Gabe Davis is just like struggling for it, and he catches it, rips it out of his hands, and yeah, gets the touchdown. Incredible performance there. The first one though, what a throw by Josh Allen. How do you do that? Just an incredible quarterback, probably the best thrower in this entire league. And he gets my Patient Performer of the Week award, sponsored by Patient Breath NFL, of course. Yeah, he's the #1 performer this week. No way I could give it to anyone else other than Josh Allen. He killed the Steelers with that performance, and yeah, deserves it in that Buffalo mansion in the snow. He gets some snow pastries covered in snow. They'll taste good, I'm sure. Josh.
No, yeah, I completely agree. If I just had one guy I just wanted to shout out, I actually mentioned it to Mark just before offline, and I've said it in our group chat, and it was before that big breakout game against the Lions for Gino. But I want to actually say this. I'll admit that to everyone, like I definitely got this wrong, but Tyler Lockett has been amazing. I cannot get over how good he has been this year, and he had another 30 odd points in fantasy and PPR on the weekend, and had a couple of touchdowns, and he just looks amazing with Gino. And I really thought that he'd be the one to be terrible with Gino, because even I thought Metcalf would still have his occasional big plays, but he'd be less consistent. I thought Lockett was going to be completely done this year. I thought he had this mind meld of Russ that everyone talked about, and I just thought he would just get completely lost in that receiving core. But I wanted to give him a shout out because I think he 100% deserves it, and he should be on everyone's radars because he's absolutely killing it this year. And to be honest, he's far more consistent with Gino than he ever was with Russ. He used to put up 30 odd points in a game, and you wouldn't see him again for 3 weeks with Russ, and then all of a sudden he'd pop up for a massive game again. And he's actually more consistent now. So I think he should be on people's radars more now with Gino than he was with Russ.
Yeah,
Mate, I
those
think
are
if most people are
yeah.
honest, I think most people probably felt the same way about Seattle. I mean, what was the positive?
Yeah.
And the thought was Russ sort of carried that. Who would have known that Russell Wilson was actually the worst thing for that Seattle offense?
Yeah. No one
It was
would have picked it.
crazy.
I was the biggest Russ hater probably on any podcast in the world, and I still wouldn't have picked it. Like I still thought that like Russ going to Broncos was a plus for them, and I thought him leaving was going to be a negative for Seattle. Like I wasn't thinking I was stupid enough to say that Russ leaving was actually a plus for them. I can't imagine anyone would have, except for maybe Gino's parents.
Yeah, that's crazy. I gotta give some terrible pastries to a few people now, because I think there's a lot of bad football. First off, anyone involved in that Colts and Broncos game, except for Naheem Hines, I gotta give my condolences to him and everything because of what happened to
That was
him.
brutal.
Bad situation. Yeah, looked terrible. I hope he's all right. But everyone else involved in that game, I've got to give a bad pastry to you because fuck, that was awful. That was one of the worst games of all time on prime time. And we got an even worse one, Commanders and Bears on Thursday night this week. I think I've got to give a pastry to Roger Goodell. Uh, hold on. Go give him a pastry for robbing Amazon of about $150 million for those two games. But then I got to take that pastry away because all the roughing the passer calls. Come on, man. Like, you're destroying the entire game of football like this. Please, I'm taking away that pastry that you almost got there, Roger. You just weren't slick enough, mate. You just robbed us one too many times with good football. So yeah, roughing the passer, that's definitely gonna get in the pastry hall of shame right there. But yeah, look, I'm just gonna run through some of my pastry performers yet again, all of them. So yeah, rookie, I got Damian Pierce. The Aussie pastry performer, Cameron Johnston. The defensive pastry performers, AFC, I've got Kyle Dogger. NFC, I've got Micah Parsons. The offensive pastry performers, the AFC, I've got Josh Allen. NFC, I've got Geno Smith. The fantasy pastry performer, I've got two. I've got Taysom Hill and Gabe Davis. And Josh Allen got my pastry performer of the week. And of course, honorary pastry to Justin Tucker for making us go viral about 3 times this week. So thank you, Justin Tucker, for that. Thank you, everyone, for listening to the pastry performer segment. Of course, catch all the pastries on Aussie NFL Fantasy, Pastry Press NFL, Good Day Gridiron. There's pastries everywhere. Pastry for you, Mark, for joining the show as well. Pastry for you, Taylor, for winning Starts of the Week for the 5th time in a row. We'll get on to that.
I'm putting on a lot of weight from those pastries.
Yeah, we'll get on to that in just a second. We got about 2 more segments to get into, isn't it? So now we've got up to everyone's favorite doctor of the week. That's right, Dr. Goodcall.
Manjot, sorry, mate.
Yeah.
Do you mind, like obviously our normal way we do it with Matty is he's like pretty happy just to sit and listen to us sort of talk about our segments because he's the host and he doesn't really have anything to bring himself. I just thought I might just pass over to Mark, even if he wants to sort of plug his own show. I know we'll probably do that at the end anyway, but I just thought this might have been a decent opportunity to hear Mark because he is here with us and brings a bit of a different aspect to what we normally do. So I just thought if we maybe just like let Mark have a little bit of a chat about his show and even if he just wanted to bring something that he's seen about NFL fantasy this year, because it's awesome to have him.
Yeah, so
the only thing I was going to clarify is if your pastries include a shit sandwich, in which case that's what the Colts versus Broncos was.
And we all deserve a pastry for watching that shit show. Our eyes were fucking bleeding.
Yeah, that was
my phone actually turned off at one point.
Man, I was sitting there. I actually went to class for once on Thursday Night Football. I actually went to a class. I went to my criminal class, and we're literally learning about murder. We're literally learning about murder, and I felt like I was getting murdered by both of those offenses. Like, holy shit, we deserve pastries.
First degree.
Don't worry, boy. Yeah, that was fucking first degree. If it was America, we don't even do degrees in freaking Australia. But hey, look, first degree murder there. But of course, guys, I did not forget Mark this week. Of course, you gotta be talking about No Huddle Dynasty, your show, brand new to the Aussie NFL Fantasy Show family.
Hey, thank you. Really excited to finally get that off the ground. I was sort of tossing the idea around, I guess it was last lockdown, where I wasn't sure whether I wanted to just write some stuff or what I wanted to do with it. But I sort of sat on it for a good year and just found some more time in my schedule where I decided to start making some content. And, it was more sort of, I got into a heap of threads on like Dynasty Nerds on Facebook and Twitter and that kind of thing, where people were just asking questions. And it was actually it was kind of a good release for me just to help give my perspective on stuff from Dynasty. Because I try not to look at things the exact same way as everyone else. Because if you do what everyone else is doing, you're going to get the same results. And then it really comes down to who's luckier on the day. Throughout all my episodes, I try to go really heavy on value because I think the value game is important no matter which type of fantasy you play, whether it is redraft, keeper, best ball or whatever. Like value is so important. So that's what we try to flush out over there. We try to keep the episodes short, so we want to go anywhere sort of 10 to 20 minutes because hour-long episodes are great, and the info and the banter and that sort of thing is awesome. But with this, it's kind of I just want quick hits of updates and just general takes. I haven't introduced mailbags or anything yet, but like if people have questions, I'm always happy to answer those. And I'd love to get like you guys on at some point as well. Particularly, like most of my stuff will really ramp up at the end of the fantasy season when we start entering. Once declarations are made, combine, all that sort of thing. So, yeah. And I'm really happy to be making content for you guys because, if it feels something that you guys don't already cover, if you can bring in people that typically don't play redraft or whatever, then I think it's a win for everyone.
Yeah, I've gone into a few dynasty leagues myself this year for the first time. I'm in one with Mark and Matty at the moment, so that's getting very interesting. Where I have just Mahomes and Jefferson and Dameon Pierce, and then a bit of a struggle elsewhere. But some of my other dynasty leagues, I've got an IDP one. That's the other dynasty league I really play is IDPs with these Indian boys. Amazing league. It's probably my favorite league, actually. I thought I'd hate IDP, but Mark, if you can cover some IDP leagues, please do that.
IDP is awesome. I've never played a dynasty IDP. I've played a redraft one, but it is honestly, it's the closest thing to an actual football roster without a salary cap. You can do. There's a platform that does the whole front office experience, but it's expensive to run. But they're a ton of fun. But there's a lot to it. Massive rosters.
Yeah, they're very fun. I enjoy seeing Bradley Chubb score 22 points a week for me in fantasy football, which is just great. Yeah, he's a beast. Yeah, so that brings us to our second segment, I guess. Everyone's favorite doctor on the block yet again. Of course, I'm talking about Dr. Goodcall.
Get to see that wonderful lab coat, mate. My next player caught AIDS in overtime, apparently. He decided he had dick fingers.
How nervous are you?
Yeah, I've been nervous. We've benched him already in a 16-team league. So
what's he even doing? Has he got the Auslan lady on the sideline sending it in?
He had barely anything in week one, even though he jagged a touchdown in garbage time.
Should we move on to a sunnier subject, please?
Yeah.
I'm feeling sad.
Against the Titans, because it's the Titans, and my God, I'm giving them back the Guinness World Record for our secondary. Like, they are just dog shit.
Dr. Goodcall definitely diagnosing correctly.
They were 24th against quarterback in 2021. I think they're going to be 50th this year. They are so bad.
Matty, what's going on over there?
I'm very happy about this.